Arch Podcast. I'm Abby Lane.
I'm Rayleigh Woodfit.
And I'm Olivia Enright.
And today we're just going to be, chatting about analyzing the relationships in When Harry Met Sally and in Stranger Than Fiction. So, the first thing that we want to discuss is the lovely relationship between our boy Harry and Sally. So, something that is kind of just intriguing about them is that the entire time that we see them in the movie, from what we saw, is just Sally having to decode everything that Harry says, because he's not really upfront about what he means. She's having to just read his body language and kind of decode all the underlying messages between everything that he says.
I agree with that, and I feel like sometimes it was kind of hard to decode what he was thinking because he was very he gave off this persona of being really cool and collected, and to me seemed like he was really good at hiding how he really felt. So then Sally had to work a little bit harder.
I feel like that's how it is with a lot of relationships that I see now between everyone I know, or at least it's close in my life. I don't know if y'all see the same with y'all's friends, but the chasing after.
It's definitely more common with the men.
Yeah,
it is.
They don't like to be very upfront.
No,
you gotta to get out.
Yeah,
it's
all about
like
the chase.
Shrek with the onion, the
layers,
the many layers.
Exactly.
The onion theory.
Social penetration theory is just like the onion theory.
It really is.
Yeah. I mean, the onion theory is not really a theory, but
we just named it that.
We're gonna call it that.
Yeah, and it's also interesting that with our little onion social penetration theory, they never really get past stage 2. We see them interact a lot, but it's really just surface level getting to know each other. They don't really get to in-depth conversations from what we saw in the movie, which I think is weird.
Yeah, and I think that how they meet each other at several different points in their life, when they first go to New York, and then a couple years later, and then a couple more years later, I think that each time, even though we stopped at a certain point of the third time maybe that they had saw each other, I think that each time we revisit them meeting, we kind of are slowly getting another layer, because the first time they talked, and it was very basic level, stage 1 type stuff. And then the second time, or the third time when they were talking, they ended up going and getting lunch and talking about their personal lives a little more. So I think that each time they see each other, they start to, uncover more.
Yeah. Word. Are we good?
I think that's all about Harry and Sally.
I was going to say, unless we have anything else.
Yeah. We love Harry and Sally.
We do.
Hope they lived happly ever after.
Hopefully they got to the core.
Hopefully they got to stage 4. That's my hope for them. So in Stranger Than Fiction, there's just a lot going on there.
Yeah.
There's
lots
a lot
of relationships.
Yeah.
So let's just talk about Harold and Anna, because we love them. So where did we begin?
I was rooting him on the whole time, even when she was hating on him. And he, I don't know. I was about it. I was they need to get together. They need to be in love. I know she hates him, but I love them, so they need to get together. Because, of course, it's all about what I want, of course.
Yes,
so.
as the audience, as the viewer. The movie was made for us.
Exactly. And I kind of loved, Anna's... I loved seeing her start in the beginning as kind of, cold and distant.
Very standoffish.
Yes. I like to see her kind of warm up. Because I think that, ego involvement, it dictates how much you care about something. And whenever he was just, the IRS agent, she was I do not care about him. All he's here to do is bring negative energy into my life, and I'm not about that. And I think that she kind of used, their relationship going on. It started to, not only did their, relationship grow, but as their relationship growed, she kind of, became a little more warm and started to, unpack things to him, and then those things kind of were unpacked to us, and we were able to, understand why she was so, cold, if you will, and then, to see the warmer side of her.
And that's just another example of social penetration theory. Because when they first met,
she was not about it.
Yeah. It was just surface level stuff. And then by the end of the movie, they were at stage 4, bro.
Yeah.
She was in the hospital with him when he was just
They were in love.
They were in love.
What I've been waiting for this whole time.
So say we can get into task attraction if we would like, or we can.
Let's do it.
All right. Well,
Miss Baker.
Yeah.
Listen, their jobs, they have polar opposite jobs, but just because of him having to be there so much, it started.
Yeah.
And then he started coming back more.
Yep. And she like
He went from task just to straight proximity. He
Yeah.
just wanted to be there.
That audit day, bruh.
Oh my lord.
He was yeah.
Yep. He was grinding on it, and he went downstairs, and she was making him cookies, and that made me so emotional because I was like, yeah, y'all are together. Y'all are together. She likes you. As you can tell, I'm very invested in their relationship.
We needed a part 2.
We did. We need it. Maybe
Where
we
are
should
they
all
now?
produce part 2.
Yes.
Let's
Where are
get
they
together.
now?
We can just call up Will Ferrell real quick.
Y'all come back.
Please make another
Maggie
movie.
Gyllenhaal, like, we know you're famous and everything, but, like, get back, girl. We need Anna Pascal to come back.
We need Anna.
Let's see.
All right.
Oh, Harold's internal anchors.
Oh,
He kind of, like, he just lived his entire life
yeah.
the same.
Yeah.
Like, it would, like, just his entire life was the life experience that
Mhm.
held him down.
Yeah, and I think that his internal anchors are very interesting because, like, when we think of internal anchors and, like, the previous life experiences that we have and how they dictate what we think and believe, it's kind of the polar opposite because with ours, we think about all the crazy things that have happened to us in our lives. Like, if we had anything, like, traumatic happen to us, if you will, it would dictate how we feel about things that would happen. But, like, Harold lived the same thing every single day. So, like, he never really dealt with anything too crazy because his little watch kept him on time and in a routine, in a schedule. And I think that was also a way for him to, like, make sure that bad things didn't happen to him. If you know.
It's what kept him feeling grounded. But he wanted to feel like that all the time.
Exactly.
Instead of having difficulties.
Exactly.
I feel like the bulldozer coming through his whole living room was like lifting his internal anchor, like his old internal anchor. Because that's what sent him on his whole little spiral too.
I agree.
Branch out, learn how to play guitar, brush his teeth aggressively. Can't forget about that.
Yeah. And it's funny that you said something about the crane, because I think that can go back to the attribution theory of how individuals perceive the cause of everyday life. I think that the fact that he didn't go out to further the plot caused the crane to come in and, like, disrupt it just so that the plot could keep going. So, yeah.
The flowers.
The flowers.
Don't even get me started on the flowers, y'all. That was so cute. I shed a tear.
Just one.
I was like, yeah.
I think I'd be very pleased if a man showed up with a bunch of flowers for
Me
me.
too. I'd be like, let me make you some cookie sugar. Come on in.
He really showed that he understood her.
Yes. We need a Harold Crick in our lives, y'all.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's what we need. Like,
Standards raised.
yep,
The bar is high.
correct.
Not allowed to get regular flowers anymore.
No.
Mm-mm.
Just a
No.
big box, and he has to walk there, just like Harold did.
Yep. I want normal flour. I want corn flour. I want almond flour. Come on. Get real.
All purpose.
All purpose.
Get real.
Be so for real. With Harold, his internal anchors and living life the same way, and his watch, like, dictating everything that he does. So Harold and Karen's relationship is very interesting in that Karen is, like, narrating his entire life. They kind of, like, Harold, at the beginning of the movie, it feels like it's just Harold's internal monologue until we realize that Karen is the one who was, like, writing this book about him. And it's like an interpersonal relationship on the surface, but then you realize that it kind of, like, it doesn't become interpersonal until they meet, obviously, when Harold is like, I'm tired of this, I have to figure out who this woman is that is narrating my entire life.
Yeah.
But it's like, it's still a little interpersonal because it is just like his thoughts and his life, and he's just living, whatever. But it's also really beautiful. I might shed a tear right now. How Karen and Harold, they, like, both made each other, like, branch out of what they've been doing their entire lives. Because Karen only wrote books where somebody died at the end.
Mm-hmm.
And then Harold only lived his life by his watch. And then Karen, like, you know, threw a wrench in his plan, and he threw a wrench in hers, because when their relationship became interpersonal, when they finally met, it was like, Karen was like, I can't kill this man.
Yeah.
And so, like, you know, they both turned each other's worlds upside down.
Yeah.
And they got to grow from that and change.
Yeah, and, like, I think that that's something that was really, like, personal to me, too. Because I think that, like, yeah, it happened to them, but it's also something that happens to, like, I feel like it happens to me all the time, where I, like, hear something about someone maybe, and I'm like, oh my gosh, that's so crazy. And then I meet them, and I'm like, there's no way that's true. Like, they're a person now. They're not just, like, a rumor I heard. And I'm like, I know you. You're nice. Like, that, you did not do what they're saying that you did. It, like, humanizes that person.
Yeah.
Happened to me, like, yesterday. I met this girl, and I was like, oh, I love you. You're a person now.
You're a person now.
Yeah. So I think it's interesting how all of this really just, like, plays into our lives. And when we're watching these movies, we're like, oh,
Nobody
this is a
thinks
silly
about
movie.
it. I was gonna say.
Exactly.
You don't think about it until you have to sit there and analyze everything.
Exactly.
You realize you have these relationships in your life.
Yep. And I'm like, Harold Crick is me. I am
I
Harold
was gonna
Crick.
say, I very much have, like, a Karen somewhere.
Yeah. The voices in my head. I hear the voices.
That's so funny. Oh, goodness.
I think it's personally just my like slightly conscious decision making friends' voices in my head. When I'm doing things, I'm like, would they do this?
Yeah.
Mm.
I'm like,
Yeah.
how am I going to be able to validate this when I explain it to my friends? Are they going to hate me?
And that is how Harold was living his life.
Yeah.
That's so silly.
Oh my goodness. Let's get into Miss Penny and Miss Karen.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
There's it's like, it's definitely, I think it's like with the, like, they don't become a person until, like, you meet them.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Like, I definitely think that Penny came in, like, oh, like, this crazy woman, like, I have to, like, you know,
Yeah.
get her out of her writer's block, like, figure out how we're gonna kill this
Yeah.
character off. And then, like, you know, she gets to see Karen more and, like, how she works and, like, what she's doing. And Penny realizes that, like, oh, like, you know, I need to help, like, ground her and, like,
Yeah.
you know.
And, like, I wish that there was more scenes of Penny and Karen, because, like, there were a couple, but I feel like there was just so much to that relationship that we didn't really get to see. And, like, I just wanted to see them more and how they interact, because they did have a really interesting relationship.
Mm-hmm.
So, I think they started off kind of as, like, work, very professional, serious relationship. And then, I don't know about Karen's side, but I definitely think Penny's side, she started to view Karen as, like, more of, like, a friend, kind of, like someone she wanted to take care of and make sure that was, like, they were okay. So.
Yeah.
He's very guardian angel.
Yes.
Yeah.
Major guardian angel vibes, for
Yeah.
sure. I agree. I don't know what I'd do if I walked into someone's office and they were just, like, up on their desk, like, arms out, ready to just free fall.
Yeah, Penny definitely exhibited a lot of patience.
Yeah. More than me. Penny is better than me.
Yeah, Penny is better than I would have been so frustrated with Karen. I'd be like, what are you doing? Just sit down, please.
Yo, if we were having a conversation and, like, Olivia was just staring off into plain sight and I asked her what she was thinking about and she said, oh, I was just thinking about that car over there crashing and falling into this pond, I'd be like, girl, are you okay? Do I need to take you over to the Payton house down there and get you some Troy University free counseling?
Literally. And literally those scenes in the movie threw me for a massive loop.
Yeah.
Like the first scene where she is, like, imagining, like, falling off of a building. And then when she was like, this is not the way that I want Harold to die.
Yeah.
I'm like, girl, you be thinking, bruh.
Have y'all ever seen those videos of people walking tightropes? And
Yeah.
you're just like,
I'm not a fan.
and I can't do that. And that's what that scene was getting me. I was like, she's about to fall off this building. And if I'm not mistaken, I think they did show a scene of her, like, stepping off and, like, falling.
Yes.
And I was like, turn it off. Cut the cameras.
The way that my jaw dropped. My jaw hit the table.
I do.
I said, I cannot believe that this isn't a film.
It was insane, to say the least.
Well, I think that we've exhausted what we came to talk about.
I agree.
I definitely appreciate all of the relationships in these movies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that we learned a lot.
Yeah.
I definitely see things in a different light now.
Me too.
Mm-hmm.
I analyze things a lot better.
The paying attention more to underlying meanings and
Yeah.
movies. I've been
Definitely.
psychoanalyzing everything that I watch now because of this.
Me too. I'm gonna watch this movie at least 5 more times. It's gonna be my new comfort movie.
No,
Yes.
this was even the first time I'd seen it, and I was still like, wow, I'm noticing so much right now.
Definitely a new lens.
Yeah. And I kind of liked, like, in the moment when we would pause and talk about it, I was like, press play, let's play the movie. But now that I'm, like, looking back on it, I kind of liked the engagement because, like, I knew what I was thinking. But, like, I like to hear what everyone else was thinking. Like, sometimes Katie would say something. I'd be like, you know what, Katie? That's so true. I've never thought about that.
You're so right.
Absolutely correct, Katie. Good job, girl. So, yeah.
Wow.
That's been the Arch
It's
Podcast.
been a great one.
Yeah. Thanks for joining us.
Tune in next time.